I think that's enough about gameplay. Dragonflight is changing so much. This mandatory content that we've been burdened with for the last 8 years is going away. There'll still be some stuff, when that's basically them wanting you to be...
I feel like, man, when people say Dragonflight is changing so much, I don't agree. All Dragonflight is doing is reverting back to Cataclysm. Basically. Still have the reps. You know, it's like you don't have any like mandatory systems. You're basically going to play Cataclysm with better graphics. That's really what it is.
Be excited about it. Come and check it out, see what it's like. But then you can leave it alone. It's more of an introduction than anything else, and I think that's a fair balance that they've struck. But now we need to move on to a more sensitive subject. The elephant in the room. Sexual allegations against Blizzard has been a prominent subject around the world.
I don't know if this is the elephant in the room. I mean, like, no one even thinks about this. No one talks about this. I mean, yeah, it happened. Okay, you know, Bill Cosby also happened. No one's talking about it. Bill Cosby is actually free. No one's talking about that. Like, I mean, yeah, the outrage is over, man. People just don't care. Honestly, I don't even think most people cared to begin with. They cared because the game was shit, so they had time to be distracted by it. But if the game was good, they'd be like, ah, okay, well, that's not good, but I'm still going to play the game.
It's still ongoing, with lawsuits still pending.
Yeah.
Let's find out what they've done to change things internally.
I personally don't care. Just give me a good game. It's like going to Walmart and asking them, it's like, well, the guys who put the steak in the wrapper, are they treating each other well now or not? Bro, I just want my steak to be in the fucking wrapper and be good, you know? It's like, I don't, like... I mean, to an extent, I care. They're human beings, but also it's like, I don't know them. I'm sure they'll figure it out. I don't care how their work condition is, as long as it's humane. You know? It's like... I don't go and buy a Nike and ask and think to myself, like, was this made by a fucking child slave in China? Probably was, but I'm still gonna buy the Nike because it's a good product. I don't see me outraging about it. It's like, I mean, this whole discussion about the allegations, I just, like, don't really care about it that much. I care on a humane level, but, like, as far as, like, having to do with World of Warcraft, I don't give a shit.
Frat boy culture. That is how Activision Blizzard is now being described here in this new lawsuit filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. The state agency alleges that female employees there are subjected to sex discrimination, unlawful sexual harassment, retaliation, and unequal pay.
Let's get into a few ground rules of this subject because it's a little sensitive, and investigations are still ongoing and probably will be ongoing for a while, which means we can't dive into specifics. We're simply not allowed.
The unequal pay, I mean, that one is hard to prove. Right, so it's like sex discrimination in terms of and conditions of employment. Maybe. Not sure. Based on like what I've read so far, you can go both ways. Unlawful sexual harassment, 100%. Okay. Retaliation, I'm not really sure what that means. Like what they're referring to specifically there. Like Blizzard not doing anything. I don't know. Failure to prevent discrimination. I haven't heard much about the discrimination in there. Sexism, sure, but discrimination specifically, like as in like racism or something, or just discrimination between sexes. Harassment, that has to do with sexual harassment, and retaliation, which has to do with retaliation. And the unequal pay is probably the best one. Unequal pay, I can't even take seriously because unequal pay between the sexes has been debunked before. So I don't know what they're using to say that there is unequal pay at this point. Right? It's like two people working at the same exact job and one person's getting more because he's a man. Can you prove that it's because he's a man or because he haggled for that job? I was working at a place, I was doing a lot less than someone else as a general worker. I was getting paid more because when I was hired, I asked him like, I want this amount of pay. He's like, okay, cool. That guy was still making a lot less money than me, even though he had a lot more responsibility. He was doing a lot more. He just never asked for more. The guy would probably give him, but he never asked. So it's like this whole like unequal pay, it's all like really hard to like for me to determine because like there are probably multiple things that go into it. The same with like You know how they had like the female CEO as well as the male CEO, Mike Ibarra, I think that was his name, with the female CEO who quit later, and she only was a female CEO. This was, I really didn't like it because they needed a female CEO, but she was getting paid less. However, was she even doing the same amount of work? Was like I saw Mike Ibarra on Twitter all the time. He's playing the games, whatever. I don't know the amount of work they do, but it's like you can't just expect equal pay just because of your title. You also have to put in the work. It's like saying if you work in a sales like in a sales what's it called, business place, and like you expect everyone to get the same compensation, even though like two people are not selling shit and everyone else is doing all the sales, but they're there, so they should get the same fucking compensation. Yeah, that's not really how the world works. I'm not saying she was a bad employee or not, but it's like we don't know what she was responsible for. She just had the title. If she just has the title, that doesn't mean she gets the same pay. It's like saying the CEO of Blizzard should get the same money as CEO of EA. That's not really how it works. Just because they're both CEOs doesn't mean they have the same fucking pays.
Unlawful sexual harassment, retaliation,
everything else,
unequal pay.
It's like I don't have the details.
Let's get into a few ground rules of this subject because it's a little sensitive, and investigations are still ongoing and probably will be ongoing for a while.
Yeah, it's going to take forever.
Dive into specifics. We're simply not allowed. I'm also not a journalist. I am not the person who should be diving into this stuff. There are lawyers and things working.
You're just scared about it more.
To find out exactly what happened and make sure the right people are compensated. We know certain things have happened at Blizzard. We are fully aware that they have done a complete equity paycheck on every single employee in the business, making sure that person A doing the same job as person B are being paid exactly the same
that's how it should be.
Doing that job. We know that's taken place and people are very happy with it.
That should be the case. However, even in that regard, some people are better at their job than others, even if it's by 5%, 10%, and they can go and ask their manager, hey, I want a raise, but I don't want a new fucking title. I just want a raise within my current job. Well, this person asked for a raise, and we want to keep him, want to make him happy and give him a raise. But now do we have to raise the pay for everyone, or does this one person is just going to get a raise and everyone else is going to still get the same? See, like this is the problem with these things. It's like, yes, this is the job you sign up for. This is the pay. Cool. You've been in the company for X amount of time. You think you're very valuable to the company. The company agrees. They're willing to pay you more. Your time invested in the company is worth more than someone else who hasn't been in the company as much, who isn't as passionate about it, who's not doing as much work, even though his responsibility is the same, but he's just not doing as much work. He's not as fast on the keyboard. He's not as fast at detecting issues. Some guys are just better than others. Some girls are better than others, you know? It's like, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, there's an entry level pay, and then there is like you're just better at this job than other people. If the company wants to keep you, you want them to compensate you. I don't see a problem with that. And just saying like everyone's making the same exact pay because this is your job title, I don't agree with it. Because some people are just better at their job and should be rewarded for it.
What we're going to do is give Blizzard the platform. We're going to ask the question of what their goal is overall. What is their philosophy overall to make sure things like this never happen again? Amongst all the Dragonflight changes that have come from the last 7 years of expansions, it's been so changed. But you've also had so much, and we've got to get into this, it's like so much upheaval internally with COVID. We obviously had all the harassment stuff that came through and massive changes amongst the staff. Like, how have you dealt with that in terms of dealing with the motivation of the staff, the internal environment, and then pushing forward with an entirely new philosophy on the game for Dragonflight? It's got to have been a rough couple of years. Though.
It's definitely been a challenging couple of years, but I think the team today is stronger and more tight-knit than we've ever been.
Also, by the way, this is the other funny thing. It's like, you know how like the whole sexual harassment, like cubicles and all that stuff, that was like 2016 or whatever, right? Because first of all, they couldn't have done it for the last 2 years because they've been working from home for all of Shadowlands development. Not last 2 years, but like the development for Shadowlands has been work from home. So all the allegations that happened that we found out during Shadowlands had nothing to do with the people, with majority of the people who were there, because they're not even in the fucking office. They can't even like sexual harass anyone. They're like, they've done harassments like years before, so it's like they didn't even probably need to change that much after, you know. It's like
having come through that and having, you know, weathered it. I mean, COVID in 2020 was obviously, you know, threw the whole world for a loop, to say the least, and, you know, began a process for us of relearning a lot of sort of lifelong creative and collaborative processes of, you know, how do you have what used to be the casual conversation around a whiteboard, or, you know, bouncing ideas off your office mate.
To talk about yesterday, it's like it's very, very strange, and in the creative environment, that's really hard. And you've done Shadowlands and Dragonflight in this
Mikey Bear,
so it's got to have been for you, who's leading the charge. It's like, okay, this is.
Did he talk to you, Bear, though?
I think it's been resolving some problems and figuring out systems and processes that work, and a lot of, you know, I think a lot of what we come up with, we would keep regardless. Even if we could all come back to the office tomorrow, there are certain meetings that we would have that we'd keep virtual forever. I think it is, you know, it's the social connections, it's the casual interactions that are the hardest to reproduce, but we continue to work at it. And then obviously the other, you know, major event last year, you know, I think really it triggered a period of ongoing self-reflection for the team as a whole, for the company as a whole. Starting last summer, it was both, you know, looking inward.
I bet there were some people who didn't even realize that they were like harassing other people. They're just like still not self-aware. I'm not saying that's like they're the ones who were like super obvious, but it's like some guy who just like is a bit more touchy-feely kind of thing. Like think Chris Hemsworth, because he's very like, you know, touches your shoulder all the time, like hugs you, all that stuff. Like some people just like more physical affection people, and some people just really don't like to be touch others. Like me, for example, I don't like touching or being touched too much, right? I'm not a touchy-feely kind of person, but some people that I worked with are super touchy-feely, right? And it's like some of those people might have been just like, you know, like come up behind somebody and just like, you know, rub their shoulders a bit, but this person has already been harassed by 3 other people, and this guy doesn't even realize that what he's doing is like not fucking, he shouldn't be doing it, but he's just being friendly, right? I'm not saying like this is majority case, but I'm saying like I'm sure there were cases like that, and people just became a lot more okay, I need to be less touchy-feely, you know. It's like I don't want to be involved with this whole bullshit. Like they become just way more self-aware. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying it's like,
to our culture, to our history, to, you know, frankly ask like, are we who the internet says we are? Is this who we really are?
No, I doubt it.
Is no, but also certainly it's who we never want to be and want to have no chance of being. And so how do we?
I don't think anyone really wants to be it, or like I don't think any company is necessarily that. But some moves by a company do dictate certain things. For example, everyone pretty much knows that Blizzard is a very scummy company based on other shit that Bobby is doing, because he's the lead of the company, right? So it is what it is, right? But it's like, it doesn't mean that the developers themselves are shitty people. Just because the company is shit doesn't mean the developers are, you know? Though in this case, you know, some developers are sick doesn't mean that the company is sick as well.
Change our processes. How do we develop a culture of feedback and listening and openness and trust that makes sure that even the slightest hint of impropriety will be raised and dealt with before we ever got any place close to the allegations from years and years ago? But at the same time,
yeah, these allegations are like very, very old.
Listening to our player base.
It doesn't have to do with many of the people who work there.
Hearing lots of feedback, not just about anger at the revelations in the lawsuits, but about the state of the game.
Yep. It was a double whammy.
Your I'm quitting video very much included. Of like, we're missing something big here, right? Our goal at the end of the day is to make a world that players want to spend time in, that they're going to love spending time in, and that's the passion that drives all of us. And we're failing.
This is the 3rd day we've been here on the Blizzard campus. And
We're
it's
failing.
A strange place.
This you realize.
It's huge. 7 giant buildings housing Overwatch over there. They're doing World of Warcraft in there. They're doing WoW Classic over there. It's a weird environment to be in because there's nobody here. Blizzard has been running about 15% staff on site since Shadowlands, since COVID kicked in, and it doesn't plan on changing. People that are here generally come in for 1 or 2 days a week. The rest of the time they work from home. And all across California, to the other gaming companies we've spoken to this week, that is going to stay exactly like that.
See, this is why I'm really happy about what Elon Musk is doing and is telling people in Twitter. No, you're coming to the fucking office. If there's an office, you're coming. Unless there's like a real reason you can't make it to the office, you're coming to the office. And the thing is, it's like some people say it's like, oh, I can be more productive at home. You can also be more distracted at home, right? You can also fake, fake that you're doing certain stuff at home, right? You can also just, like it's not and first of all, it's also not very healthy for you to have your home as your work environment. Similar to like how a lot of people who have a home gym don't really work out in their home gym. They go to outside to the gym. It requires a lot of discipline to work out at home because this is the place where you rest. This is the place where you relax and unload, right? It's not the place where you just work, right? Some people are fine with it, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times that's not the case, right? It's very easy to get distracted, okay? It's really, really easy to not focus. That's why a lot of people, when they study, they don't study at home. They go to the library where it's like more for studying. Not lately, but like at least not that I think of. Actually, no. I look at the colleges. The libraries are fucking full with people. Why are they studying there and not like at home or whatever? Because there's distractions there. At library, there are no distractions. Same with work. Everyone is there for work. You're focusing on work. So I don't necessarily agree. I think the games will suffer from people because we're talking about games, but businesses will suffer if people are not going to the offices and they're just sitting at home for work. Because even if at first you can be more focused, it takes just one slip, one distraction to kind of be like, well, you know what? I got distracted for a bit and that was fine. Nothing bad happened. We're good. Got my work done. Wasn't too bad. Maybe I can allow myself to get a bit of distraction. And you have a fucking, what do you call it? A snowball effect, right?
The last 4 years have been really tumultuous for you guys. We've had COVID and walking around yesterday, wonderful access to see everything and see how it works, but desolate. Very strange, an eerie feeling, because everything is designed for so much fun. Yeah, well, today's an anomaly, and I know that. I've been told that many times by the comms team. They're like, it's not like this. We've not set this up. These aren't paid actors to give it some life. But we did the full tour yesterday. Everything you guys have set up for all the staff is so fun. Like, they're very creative in their places. Seeing the team, the staff just playing volleyball at lunch, that's exactly why we're here. No one sees that, right? Yeah. That's what they don't know happens. Yeah. But obviously then the allegations come out, huge shake up at the top, and you guys are the ones who steered that ship as far as I know. So we need to know, how did you do that? You came into a really rough patch and then you seemingly have got here. So,
well, I mean, as you pointed out, I mean, who could have predicted the last couple of years? I mean, just having COVID and having to work from home, and we literally mobilized like within a couple of days. It's like, okay, everyone, there's a lockdown happening. You need to go home to be safe. And, we're going to make sure you have equipment. And, then we literally went through a cycle of getting everyone machines.
Yeah.
That alone was a big deal.
Just logistics probably took
certainly,
fucking forever.
The issues that we faced as a company and even as our team, our team felt very strongly about, hey, we're going to send our message out to our players. We want them to know where we stand.
That's fine.
And what we want to be, as a team. And, I'm really proud of how much nobody on the team got defensive. Nobody said, oh, but this, that, or the other. And said, no,
Also, let's be real. I don't think they had the opportunity to be defensive. They didn't have the chance. Because if they're defensive, it's almost the same as fucking saying I'm guilty.
Okay, this is a wake-up call for us. This is something that we have to ingrain in our culture and reinforce. And we've grown as a team, and as new players come onto our team, we want to make sure that they are safe, that they understand what our values are, and that we want our game to be inclusive and diverse. Because after all, our audience it's around the globe.
I agree with him, but I just hate the statement, inclusive and diverse. I don't think this is something you need to think about. I think this is going to happen regardless. Just with customization, you're already inclusive and diverse. You don't have to overthink this. Add more customization, you're more inclusive and diverse. You don't have to say it. It's not like something you think about. It's like, well, we want our warriors to have swords, but warriors have swords. Yes, but we want our warriors to have swords. Yeah, but like it's already there. It's like, you don't need to say it. You think warrior, you think sword X, you know?
Because I also oversee the Warcraft franchise.
Yes.
In our 28-year history, we've accumulated 250 million players in Warcraft. Around 250 million players.
It's crazy when you see the number, right?
It's nuts, right?
It just seems unrealistic.
You think of how, you know, big that is, and you know, it's important that the team that is making the game and the content that's in that game,
how are they counting that?
Reflects that diverse audience. And that's something that this team has embraced wholeheartedly, and it's been great. It's been great to see, and in letting our game and our team speak for us, you know, and what we stand for. I've never been through that kind of experience before, you know, especially making games, which I think a lot of people think of as kind of trivial entertainment, or at least they did when I first got started with it. And now
that is where they got that pet idea. 100%.
It's, you know, it's an important
office
part
corgi.
of people's lives.
He's so cute.
That's all they got.
Look at
And
this
I
guy.
can't say I've never seen a happier workforce.
Whose dog is
besides
it?
mine, obviously. No, everybody's been super happy.
Feel free to, you know, speak candidly if you don't agree.
But it generally has felt that way being here, because that's exactly why I asked to do this. I watched the latest couple of interviews. The Dragonflight announcement I really disliked because it was very glossy and shiny. I was like, this isn't gamers. It's not us. Who are you talking to? You know? And then you get here and it's like, this is the reality. You know, chilling out, shouting, playing volleyball, and doing all those kind of things. And I think you should be proud of what you've done, because unless you're all like it's a North Korea thing going on out there, everyone seems pretty happy. The stories that you're all like it's a North Korea thing going on out there, everyone seems pretty happy. The stories
I thought his expression changed when he said North Korea out there.
Came out over that time were absolutely horrific, and they're still ongoing, which is why the guys couldn't say much. No woman
obviously.
working anywhere should feel that way, and this is an industry-wide problem that we're seeing
and also
all
no
over the
man.
place, and hopefully is being addressed. Blizzard themselves are doing what they can, making sure that the lines of communication are open, and the message has been absolutely loud and clear. We spoke to people off camera, on camera about this, and that message was simple. This can never, ever happen again. They can't afford to have it happen again, and they don't want to be associated with that kind of environment, and they're trying to move forward as a team. And as Ian said, they don't want to be the people the internet says they are. They don't want that at all. And it's nice to see that during the stages that the staff did, that John Haidt was out there supporting them as well. The new leadership is a big part of why we went.
What I want to say about that, so it's like, when the internet says they're incompetent developers, I'm fine with that. When this says that they're all sexual predators, that's not the case. Okay, it's just like it takes one sexual predator to ruin the name of a company, but it's like it's not the like. Yeah, there were bad handling, whatever, but that's not the case. Okay, not everyone there is a bad person, stuff like that. However, whoever's making decisions on certain things, yeah, needs to do a better fucking job. I'm totally fine with people critiquing their work. You don't need to critique them as people unless they actually are those people.
Fresh blood in. We've had Holly come in, Mike Ibarra come in, and we have Microsoft potentially coming in the future, who are all addressing this issue to make lives better for themselves. And we hope for that to be there. In total, Activision Blizzard has laid off 37 staff, reprimanded a further 40 plus. I can't predict the future, and it's not my place to do so. I can't talk to everybody at Blizzard, and the fact is, as was pointed out to us several times, is the fact that people can now work from home has given them a safety net to be able to speak out as quickly as possible if something is going wrong. What the future holds is on Blizzard. And so we'll pay attention to these ongoing lawsuits, what's going on and what they're doing with. But I can tell you this, and I'm okay with saying this. What I saw while I was there was extremely happy people. Obviously not everybody's there, but that's what I saw. The only times that Blizzard asked us to turn our cameras around was when the staff were squealing with delight at seeing other employees. They've been apart for so long, and they love working there, and they love the other people they work with. We've heard from other sources that you will see in other interviews coming out later that the rumors and reports are that things are much, much, much better at Blizzard.
It feels like the way he's describing it, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like, you know how you go to like summer break when you're in school, and it's like you stay with the same class, or it's like, you know, 7th to 8th grade, you're still the same exact class, and it's like you just haven't seen people in your class for like 2 months, and it's like you see them again. It's like, even though you're not really friends, you're all happy to see each other because it's like people you're familiar with and shit like that. That's kind of like how he describes the Blizzard people when they finally see each other after like being locked away and shit like that. I get it, but it's like, it does, like, you don't necessarily have to like or hate the other person to be happy to see them, because it's like, hey, long time no see, employee 23. You know, it's like, yeah, it's cool, whatever, but it doesn't mean that they're friends, doesn't mean that they hate each other, but it's like, yeah.
Itself, especially in the Warcraft team, and they're all working to make things good for them. That's what we know, but it's up to them to prove it.
Just fucking focus on work, man.
Why did we go?
Yeah.
Why did we do this? Why did I pay to send me and another member of my staff all this equipment over across the other side of the world in order to see Blizzard? When I left, I was about as deeply upset about a video game as I'd ever been. World of Warcraft provided me so much.
Yeah.
And I had to say goodbye. But I felt...
Heck, WoW provided your whole fucking career. Let's be real here for a second. Yeah.
Felt we owed them another
whole
chance.
Lifestyle.
And what was really interesting is that the top execs at Blizzard...
It's not... I mean, I'm not discrediting him. WoW gave him the opportunity to be what he is today, yeah.
Not just in regards to me, but in regards to you guys as well, who may have left, felt the same way.
WoW, when it first came out, I mean, Facebook was only at Harvard. It hadn't yet hit the rest of the world. And for a lot of people, social interaction through the chat of WoW and logging in on WoW was one of their first experiences in being around a bunch of other people and exchanging
across
ideas.
The world.
Even though the premise is we're playing this game together, but we're also having meaningful discourse. And I think
that's not the case anymore.
We want to see that we're doing the same thing, 5 and 10 years from now that we did back then.
Especially because seemingly when I stopped making regular content, I mean, you guys, not directly, but World of Warcraft gave me a career. I've traveled the world with my children because of World of Warcraft, and to leave that behind was devastating. Like, to the point where I could not play this game anymore. That's where I was at. I can't even fathom logging into play anymore. Nope. We met in 15 years ago when you were in Molten Core.
What's going on with like, what is this? What is this? Like, why is there like a mini green thing here that's blocking his finger?
Wow.
I know this is before, but
in Molten Core, in my Molten Core guild, and we disconnected for a decade, and then because I was streaming and stuff, he was like, "Oh, Mike." Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and now he works for me, and we're all doing very well. So I owe all that to. So it's like leaving it behind was devastating. And then I see Dragonflight's coming out, and I kind of got the message. We kind of changed everything that you were moaning about. Come have a look. I was like, okay. And then I came in. I was skeptical. I was a pessimist. I was like, it's here somewhere. There's Azerite power under this table. I know there is. It's lurking, and it's like, no, it's not there. So that's when I watched the last interview with Ian and Max. I was like, this ain't right. Let's send a message. Can we come? Can we do something that's casual, relaxed, a conversation? Instead of like, here's 20 questions. Go, 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 go. Right, I'm going.
Yes.
I feel the request.
So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You've been wonderful, both of you.
Yeah, thanks for not giving up on us.
Yeah.
How can I? I agree with you guys. The sun is setting on our time here at Blizzard for now, and this video. Everything we were promised, we were given. Unprecedented access. We got to go absolutely everywhere. We were well taken care of. We got to look at everything, and it's hard not to be impressed with the changes in leadership and the direction that they're going with this game. I can't promise what's going to be here in the next 5 years. What I can tell you is, as I'm talking to you right now, a meeting has been going on since 5 a.m. discussing where World of Warcraft will be in the next 10 years. They're duly focused on new things. It's Era 3 is what they're calling it. It's going to be a big change from everything we've seen.
It's like Era 4, to be honest, but
since Classic. They're going in a different way, and they're going to see how people like it, and they're going to adapt. Everything they've told us is that they're listening to player fluid feedback. The game is going to be dictated far more by what players want to do. The idea of modular content will remain, but now they're looking to make content that is far more evergreen, features added in Dragonflight should still have relevance 3 expansions down the road.
Yeah, everyone knows dragon riding is gonna be a thing for for all the expansions down the road. Everyone knows that fucking the talent system is gonna be for 2, 3, 4 maybe expansions down the road. Yeah, okay, but they're not adding systems, so obviously they can last for a long time. It's
Not just left to the bin like Warfronts, Island Expeditions, Torghast, Garrisons,
Yeah,
the list
yeah,
goes
yeah.
on, Class Halls.
Yeah,
which
there are
have
no
all been
features in the
fan
expansion, I get
favourites,
it.
Some of them less so, but then just disappeared every single time, which was by design in the past. That's going to change. They're going to look at it in a different way. It's worth a look and it's worth checking out because their intentions seem very, very pure. I'm super happy with what we found here. I couldn't have asked for more. I couldn't have
again, the intention can be pure. It's the production of the intention, the execution.
asked for more time, and I'm glad we came and I'm glad we did this. Thank you for coming along for this journey, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Cool. Yeah. Like I said, I honestly don't think they could have brought anyone better than Preach for this. Not that they brought him, but it's like I think like if Beller has to do this, I would be like, I don't know if he's the right person, but accepting Preach's offer to do this, first of all, great move by Blizzard for accepting this. And also, yeah, like I was saying, like Preach is probably the best person to actually do this from like the WoW content creators. You know, he's very realistic. He's not too biased in any direction. He's somebody who's played the game for forever. He's been critique about the game since forever. He quit the game, so he got to explore everything out there. His job is literally just like he's helping companies make their game like more friendly towards players. And I think like that's literally what he does outside of like his YouTube and Twitch stuff. So yeah, I mean like out of content creators for WoW, I would say he's probably like the best for this type of thing for sure. But anyways, yeah, that's the end of it. What a ride.